Jack Carman. I'm from Tullahoma, and I'm the author of Wildflowers of Tennessee. So this presentation features the Smokies wildflowers. In case you're wondering, the title slide is the Deep Creek overlook along the Newfoundland Gap Road in North Carolina. Now, the Great Smoky Mountain National Park was chartered by Congress on June 15, 1934, and dedicated by President Franklin Roosevelt on September the 2nd, 1940. Now, it's part of the Great Smoky Mountains chain that is a part of the Blue Ridge Mountains, which are a division of the Southern Appalachian Mountains. Now, the park has a little over 500,000 acres. It straddles the Tennessee and North Carolina border and had 12 million visitors in 2024. Now, the park has over 1,500 species of flowering plants, including 35 orchids and 27 violets. So today I will present just a few of the 1,500. Now, the presentation is by time of year. So in January, the mountains might look like this. The chimneys might look like this. The Walker Camp Prom might look like this. The Primitive Baptist Church in Cades Cove might look like this. Now, when on a winter hike, you might run across the leaves of puttyroot. It's one of our native orchids. Each plant has a single leaf that will die back before the plant flowers in May. Now, these are overwintering leaves of the crane flower orchid, another native orchid that you might see on the winter hike. Leaves are ruffled green on top and satin purple underneath. Very easy to identify. Now, the leaves will die back before plants flower in early August. Now, moving into March, the deciduous trees of Cades Cove may not have new leaves, but the early flowering wildflowers are beginning to appear. Now, one of the earliest wildflowers to bloom, the sharp-lobed Vatica, produces its new flowers first. As the new flowers and the overwintering three-lobed leaves begin to die back, new leaves come up that will last until next spring. Flower colors vary from white to pink to pale lavender to deep lavender. Bloodroot is another early flowering species. Notice how each flower stem is surrounded by a new leaf. The flowers open in the morning and close in late afternoon. Leaves of the Carolina Spring Beauty are about 1/4 to 1/2 inch wide. Its first cousin, the Virginia Spring Beauty, has similar flowers, but its leaves only are about 1/10 of an inch wide. Usually the first violet to flower, the round leaf yellow violet flowers, are up and fully open before the leaves appear. I didn't realize that until I made that photograph. Flowers of the pawpaw are out before the leaves. Fraser sedge has rather showy flowers compared to most sedge species. Trout lily flowers open in the morning and close at night. And on cloudy days, they may remain closed all day. Moving into April, Upper elevations may be covered with snow or hoarfrost, while new green leaves are showing at the lower elevations. Now here, silver bells are in full bloom on the slope of Sugarland Mountain. This is the flowers of the mountain silver bell, and it's a member of the storax family. Now this is the Little Pigeon River West Prom after an overnight rain, and as seen in the Chimneys picnic area. In April, trees in Cage Cove are beginning to leaf out. Now by April, many plants are beginning to flower, so fruit can be produced before the forest trees completely leaf out and block the sun from the forest floor. Now, of course, this is squirrel corn. A first cousin to squirrel corn is Dutchman's britches. The wild bleeding heart is another first cousin to both squirrel corn and Dutchman's britches. Now the botanists have moved our 4 toothworts into the bittercress genus. So crickleroot's Latin name has been changed from Dentaria diphylla to Cardamine diphylla. When I was coming up and learning about the flowers, I said, just learn the Latin names. They'll never change, you know. If you look at the common names, they are always changing. But not the case anymore. Now, leaves of the ramps are up and showy in April. Notice that the base of each leaf is purple. That's an easy identifier. Now, leaves will die back before the plants flower in the summer. Now, in the presentation, introduced species are denoted by an asterisk before the Latin name. Now, coltsfoot flowers are up before the leaves. You can see a few young leaves coming up with the coltsfoot. I don't know if you can see the mouse or not. But the coltsfoot is very invasive, so the park tries to eradicate these plants before seed is produced. So if you see any coltsfoot in the park, please report its location to a park ranger. These were actually made these photos were actually made in the Smokies, but there's no plants there anymore. Now this is Canada cinquefoil. Now the 5 whorled leaflets of the cinquefoil leaves are distinctive. Most of our wood sorrels have yellow flowers. And even without the flowers, the violet wood sorrel leaves are easy to recognize because the underside of the leaflets are purple. I think you'll all recognize this one. Now the dandelion is an introduced species that has done well in the park and everywhere else in Tennessee. Now the identifier for the Tennessee chickweed is the green bracts on the flower head are as long as the petals. Let me see this flower up here. But you see the little green bracts that are under the flower head. They are just as long as the white petals. So that's the identifier for the Tennessee chickweed. Now The star chickweed plants look quite similar to the Tennessee chickweed plants, but the green bracts on the flower head are only half as long as the white petals. The fringed Phacelia has fringed white flowers, and it is a southern Appalachian endemic. Trilliums are now in their own family. Large flowered trillium petals open white and they turn pink with age. Now, the flowers are somewhat tubular shaped so that the ovary is not readily seen. Trilliums with stalked flowers, like this one, belong to the wake robin group. The sweet white trillium petals open white, but as they age, they just turn brown. The leaves are large and usually overlap, and the ovary is black. The flowers have the smell of green apples, hence the common name sweet. Now, yellow trillium has a flower with 3 erect yellow petals that sits directly on top of the 3 leaves and is lemon scented. Since the flower has no stalk, it is a member of the toad-shaped group. Usually leaves of the toad-shaped group are mottled, while leaves of the wake robins are not mottled. You can see the mottling is obvious on these leaves. Now, the Appalachian little brown jug plants usually have a single leaf and a single flower that lays on the ground. Canadian columbine is a member of the buttercup family, and the flowers are knotty. And of course, these are really a favorite flower of the hummingbirds. For blue cohosh, the cluster of yellow flowers is born above the new leaves. Born on a small shrub, the sweet shrub flowers are dark red and have a strong strawberry-like smell when crushed. These flowers, before we had all the perfumes you could buy, these flowers were crushed and used for perfume by the ladies. Now, one of several fleabanes in the Smokies, Robin's plantain has the showiest flowers. Flowering dogwood has the showiest flowers of our native dogwoods. The bright red flowers of fire pink make it a favorite wildflower of many. Appalachian veilwort distribution in Tennessee is restricted to the mountain counties. Now, this is brook lettuce. As the name implies, look for this one around stream beds. It likes to have its feet wet. Now, this is another one that botanists are working on to sort out the differences in the foam flowers. Now, this particular species is distinguished by a single small leaf on the flower stem. Gaywings is one of the showier members of the milkwort family. Wild geranium has the largest and showiest flowers of our native geranium species. Dwarf ginseng has been moved out of the Panax genus of the famous American ginseng and the one that has the valuable roots. This is not it. But this one has been moved into the Nano-Panax genus. One flower cancer root has no chlorophyll, and it is parasitic on the roots of several hosts. Wild strawberry is a member of the rose family. Creeping phlox distribution in Tennessee is limited to the mountain counties. Purple Phacelia is a member of the waterleaf family. A good place to look for this one is along the Little River Road. McHale's Mazus can be found in the lawn at the Sugarland Visitor Center. Squawroot has no chlorophyll and is parasitic on the roots of oak trees. So you always see it growing out of the forest floor leaf litter. It is reported to be a favorite food of the bears. The primary Tennessee range of the Appalachian bluet is also the mountain counties. Golden ragwort can be identified by the large roundish basal leaves. Jack in the pulpit plant will have only a single flower, but it can have one or two leaves with 3 leaflets each. Young plants with one leaf are usually male. But when a male plant gains enough strength to produce fruit, it normally will change sexes to a female and produce a fruit cluster. Greenish yellow flowers of the yellow mandarin hang under the leaves from the tips of the plant branches. First cousin to the yellow mandarin, the spotted white flowers of the spotted mandarin also hang under the leaves from the tips of the plant branches. Catesby's trillium has a single flower that nods below the leaves. Petals open white and turn pink with age, but sometimes the flower petals may open pink. The southern nodding trillium has a single flower that nods below the leaves. The green sepals and the white petals recurve to expose a large dark ovary. Now, the painted trillium flower has white petals with a red blaze at the base. It's our only white robin trillium with leaves having a short stalk. All our other white robin trilliums have leaves without stalks. If you look at the spelling on the Latin name, they've changed it from trillium to trillidium. I'm not sure what the difference is they used to put it in a different genus. Now, this is a typical color of the dwarf crescent iris, but occasionally you may see a plant with a white flower. Now, the pink lady slipper is one of our favorite native orchids. Showy orchis is another of our native orchids. The large yellow lady slipper is a native orchid. Now, each plant normally has a single flower, but on occasion you may see a double flower plant. Now moving into May, the Cable Cemetery in Cades Cove might look like this. Now this is a view from the Gatlinburg Bypass Overlook during the first spring after the fire. Damage to the forest from the fire is evident and extensive. Now this is a view from the overlook of the 9th spring after the fire. Few effects of the fire are noticed now. In May, Borders Creek might look like this. Meg's Falls might look like this. Now the base of a Fraser magnolia leaf forms a W. That is, if you're looking at it from the other direction. It looks more like an M in this photo. But that is a good identifying characteristic for the Fraser magnolia. Now the mountain dog hobble common name comes from the time when dogs could be used to hunt bears. When chased by dogs, bears could easily run through the dog hobble patches, and dogs could not follow quickly, so the bears would escape. Crossvine is a high climbing vine, so sometimes you have to look up to see these flowers. Be walking along a trail and you see the flowers on the ground that have fallen off, and then you have to look up in the tree to see the flowers that are still current. Flowers of the American alum root are not showy. You can see the flowers in the left frame there, and that's as good as they get. But the leaves can be quite attractive. Alternate leaf dogwood flowers are small and white and borne in numerous clusters on short stalks along the branches. Red trillium, also known as stinking Benjamin, is found at high elevation. Petals are rather narrow and flowers have the odor of a wet dog. Red trillium may have either red flowers, that's variety erectum, or white flowers, that's variety album. Daisy's trillium has a single red flower with large, recurved petals that nods under the leaves. The flower is the largest of all our trillium flowers. Now, flowering plants of the Indian cucumber root grow a stem above the initial leaf whorl that is topped by leaves and flowers. Greenish flowers nod below the upper leaf whorl. Dutchman's pipe is a high climbing vine with heart-shaped leaves. Umbrella leaf white flowers are borne above the leaves in clusters at the top of long stalks. Leaves of the umbrella leaf are quite large, typically from 1 to 3 feet wide. Now the white bead lily has a cluster of white flowers borne at the top of a long stalk. The pinkish red flowers of the eastern twisted stalk are borne at leaf junctions on the plant branches and hang under the leaves. The Canada Mayflower plants usually are no more than 8 inches tall, with a cluster of small white flowers at the stem tip. blue bead lily has a small cluster of yellow flowers borne at the top of the long stalk. Look for this one in high elevation spruce fir forest. The leaves have died back and the putty root flowers are borne on a naked stem. Look for the witch hobble at high elevation. The flower clusters have large, showy, infertile flowers around each cluster's margin. Now this is the wild yam with a female plant on the left and a male plant on the right. Bowman's root is a member of the rose family. Now this is the Tennessee state tree, the tulip tree. This is Hearts of Buston, also called strawberry bush. Deer like to nibble on this one. Eastern red elderberry flower clusters are roundish or cone-shaped. Hairy buttercup is a member of the buttercup family. Now this is the fairy one with male plants in the left frame and the female plant in the right frame. Appalachian waterleaf is a southern Appalachian endemic and a Tennessee rare plant. It's our only waterleaf with red-purple flowers. Now the yellow king devil is a mouse-ear hawkweed with a cluster of yellow flowers at the top of a long hairy stem. Buds and flowers of the mountain laurel are quite showy. The flowers may be white or pale pink. Catawba rhododendron is a member of the heath family and it's found at high elevation. Galax flower racemes are borne at the top of the long naked stems. Flame azalea flower colors range from white to yellow to orange to red. And look for this one at high elevation also. Mountain maple is a member, of course, of the maple family, and it's found at high elevation. Fruits of the wild strawberry are edible and they're very tasty. And moving into the summer, this is the Little River Middle Prong in the Tremont area. Haze from the Canadian wildfires as seen from the Kauai parking lot. And forgive me if I pronounced that wrong. Still have trouble with the Kauai. It's very, very distinctive line from that you got from the wildflower smoke. The small purple fringed orchid is another native orchid, and again look for this one at high elevation. Look for rosebay flowers from mid-June to mid-July, depending on the elevation. American mountain ash is found at high elevation. Look for it along Kauai Road. Now, the white plumes of the common black stakeroot can be seen along Newfoundland Road during the early summer. A good place to look for the American wood sorrel is in a high elevation spruce fir forest. Now, eastern maple leaf raspberry fruit is edible, but it's rather pithy and not very tasty. Look for Klingman's hedge nettle at high elevation. Not found in Tennessee, look for the orange hawkweed along the Newfoundland Gap Road in North Carolina. Now, it's our only mouse ear hawkweed with orange flowers rather than yellow flowers. Now, it's easy to see from the fruit where the name red elderberry arises. Striped wintergreen typically is less than 1 foot tall and has white, waxy flowers and leaves with light colored veins. Mountain sweet pepper bush is a member of the Clethra family. Now, Indian pipes are saprophytic plants that have a single nodding flower per stem. Now, the Turk's cap lily flowers show a green star as you look into the throat. The purple passion flower, of course, is the Tennessee state wildflower. The eastern pine sap is a saprophytic plant that has multiple nodding flowers per stem. Now, all the ramps leaves have died back when the plants flower in the summer. Appalachian turtlehead can be seen along the Kauai Road. Canada Mayflower fruit will eventually turn red. I've not been able to find any with red berries. They're usually gone by the time that they can turn red. Ruggles ragwort is a southern Appalachian endemic, and the flowers have no petals, so the flowers seen in the right frame are as showy as they get. Blue Ridge cutleaf coneflower. Look for this one along the mountainside edge of the Kauai parking lot. Blue Ridge white heartleaf aster is a southern Appalachian endemic found at high elevation. The downy rattlesnake orchid is a native flower orchid. Its first cousin, the lesser rattlesnake orchid, also is native. Differences from the downy rattlesnake orchid include different mottling on the basal leaves, and this one has a one-sided flower raceme. Scarlet bee balm is another favorite wildflower of many folks. Now, the common name of this plant apparently is obtained from the blue fruit color. Now, This is the eastern twisted stalk fruit. The leaves on this twisted stalk stem were so damaged that I was really surprised that any fruits were still attached to the stem. Now the leaves of the cranefly orchids have died back when the plants flower in early August. The red peduncle and the red pedicels with blue berries are distinctive for the umbrella leaf. From the fruit color, it seems to be apparent why the plant is called blue colache. Now the yellow mandarin flowers were below the leaves, but the fruit has moved above the leaves. Small American beautyberry flowers are clustered around the stem at the leaf junctions. Now the leaves of the virgin spire vines have 3 toothed leaflets each. Berries of the witch hopple fruit are initially red, but eventually will turn black. This is the common jack-in-the-pulpit fruit. Appalachian white snakeroot is a member of the aster family. Mountain angelica can be seen along the Kauai Road in late summer. Now, skunk goldenrod is found at high elevation in September. Take a leaf and rub it between your fingers, take a whiff, and you will know from where the common name arises. Several members of the gentian family, including the eastern aglyweed, flower in September. Look for this one at high elevation. And for Indian cucumber root, the flowers nodded under the upper leaves, but the fruits moved back over the upper leaves. Now, a poultice of crushed leaves from the touch-me-not plants may be used to relieve the irritation of poison ivy and stinging nettle rash. Now, when in fruit, the red berry clusters on the stem make American beautyberry easy to see and to identify. Red berries of flowering dogwood usually are seen in September. Downy lobelia flowers in September. Now the blue heartleaf aster is a roadside species at upper elevations in late September and early October. Moving into October, this is a Kauai parking lot view. Upper elevation deciduous trees have put on their fall color. This is autumn along the Little River. For reference, now this photo was made on October the 21st of 1983. Looks just about the same today. Autumn along the Laurel Creek Road. The nodding lady's tresses is a native orchid that flowers in early October. Appalachian gentian flowers in October along the Rich Mountain Road. This species has flowers that open for easy access to pollinators. A lot of our gentians, they call them bottle gentians, and the flowers don't actually open. And many folks believe that the fruits of the hearts of busting are more attractive than the flowers. American mountain ash berry clusters are quite showy along Kauai Road in late October. Now look for the yellow nodding lady stresses at high elevation in late October. The dandelion-like fruits of Rugel's ragwort are seen at high elevation in late October. Now, northern witch hazel may be the last of our wildflowers to bloom each year. Now, this photo was taken on November the 17th. Moving into December, the Little Pigeon River West Prong along Newfound Gap Road might look like this. Martin Overlook along the Newfound Gap Road might look like this. Now the wildflowers will rest during the winter season, awaiting the warmer weather of a new spring. Now, this completes the program. If anyone has any questions, I'll be happy to attempt an answer.
You use the term robin. I don't know what that refers to.
Well, that's the name of one of the plants. It's called robin's plant. Now, I don't know if there was someone named Robin that gave it that name. And I'm not sure where robin's plant came from.
Does it refer to a position on the plant or the plant itself?
It's the plant itself, yes.
Common names were shown up there. Is there any knowledge about where those common names came from, except by general things like this is blue, so we call it blue something?
Well, that's a lot of it. And,
yeah.
A lot of the common names are named after somebody, somebody maybe that discovered the plant. They may use his name as a common name.
Wildflowers was said the one who named Hearts of Buston was Love. Do you have any information on that? Is that true?
Yeah, I have heard that name as being a heart. Instead of just being Hearts of Buston, it's Hearts of Buston with Love. I heard that as the name. But the common names vary from region to region. Or they may vary, or they may have the same common name.
But these are the Smoky Mountain ones.
Yeah.
Thank you.